All right, greetings everybody, and it is O-Day. That's right. Well, actually, I mean, I was going to say it's Valentine's Day, but it's actually not Valentine's Day when I am recording this. I mean, a little bit of a pre, but it doesn't always line up with exactly the way you think. Anyway, besides everything else that has been happening today, we are here to take a look at and I figured, what the heck, let's throw in Dark Leviathan also as kind of a package deal. So we have here, basically in a water-based party. These are going to be a little bit inflated stats for, quest and whatnot, but it probably will give you an idea of what this character will be like, and of course we'll test him soon enough. So first off, taking a look at the brand new katana, it's not particularly that interesting, but this one is a accuracy version, 23 accuracy for just 122 attack. Now, I mean, this is a little bit informative as to, sorry, I hit my microphone. That was not intentional. Slash attack resistance penetration of 20 is the basic thing on this katana. Now, for water users, which is kind of nice because there are some other water katana users in the game, improve the, and in the future too as well, improve the capabilities of these units by increasing accuracy by 20 when HP is over 50, and when HP is, sorry, let me just go back. When HP is also over 50%, the wider the attack range, the less physical damage taken by 20. So a nice piece of equipment. Next, going into the next thing that we are looking at here, another high source of agility, and this is on his Trust Mastery. Trust Mastery skill this time. Just a sec. There we go. Increase accuracy by 30 for 4 turns for allies, and as you can see, it is a large buff area for 32 TP. Only a single cast, which maybe decreases the value of this a little bit, but you also get a 40% attack boost. So everything that we've seen so far, is very, very anti-evasion and has a lot of stuff to potentially support the anti-evasion plan. Of course, we do have to talk about the VC and everything, but seems quite nice. And there's a healthy chunk of luck on this piece of equipment. Overall, that's all really nice. And then we get into talking about the Esper, Dark Leviathan. As you can see, you can basically get an idea for his stats, more of a physical Esper than a magic damage based Esper, although we'll talk about that in a little more in a second. 18 agility makes it a pretty fast Esper, and probably one that I think water units are going to be quite happy to have. As for its summon attack, the big thing, of course, besides, a spread-based pattern on this, is the curse status effect, which another way of accessing curse in the game is quite nice and could be useful depending on the situation. But talking about Dark Leviathan for a second, we're looking at a lot of increasing water attack by 25, healing power up by 5, human killer, which is a total of 25, slash attack only actually by 15, HP increase of 5%, increased rate of reaction block, and the bottom right hand corner, the super secret extra thing that this Esper has that other Espers don't, single target resistance penetration, which is, really, really nice. There's a bunch of units that I think would be quite happy with that. Of course, Dark Leviathan seems just like a similar story that we've seen before, just a really powerful Esper on a 90 cost vision card, which not news, but is nice to confirm. And talking about the vision card that is accompanying it, we can see it's a 8 increase of accuracy and 10% HP for the unit that has this equipped, AoE resistance of 20, physical damage increase of 10, those are for the party effects, and then we have also increased HP by 20%. I think it's quite a nice little vision card to be sure. And now that's essentially everything that we've looked at here. You'll notice that he does not have the Hermes sandals on. He actually does have the super armor on, which is kind of saying that to me that they essentially want this guy to be pretty darn tanky for his performance. And we can see in this party about 16k HP, 1600 attack, 28 defense, 24 spirit, 138 accuracy, 113 speed without Hermes sandals is quite nice. Luck 444, single target, and AoE 20 and 30 respectively. Just to really quickly compare it to, let's say, Spring Joom, who has a lot of reincarnations, but, you know, comparatively, you can see that Spring Joom does have more HP, more defense, but less accuracy, a little bit less luck, and about the same type of resistance. So you can get an idea for that. If we take a look at what's going on under the hood for net positives with this current build and vision cards, which are included in the build, sorry, do all types of damage, as we can see, kind of something that I thought we were going to potentially have here, which is a good amount of range attack resistance from gunners and archers, seeing how they have been so common lately, but still a lot of magic resistance and still a good amount of slash resistance. Not incredible, but you'll also note he does have a high amount of curse resistance. So people who are wondering about Sephiroth, hey, this is a great thing to counter all the gunner teams out there. Maybe just be a really strong character depending on what his performance looks like, and also be good against those fire-based teams as well. Seems like a winning package, at least on these servers. So now we'll talk a little bit, we'll actually talk a lot about his kit. Master abilities, of course, increase attack by 20% and decrease AP consumption by 20. Dream ability is single target resistance penetration of 20, accuracy of 15, and elemental chain resistance of 15. All nice, makes them pretty resilient, at least it looks like on paper. Now, support-based skills, Dragoon gives him jump and maybe healing power and HP up. Kind of soft. Looking at, I do believe he has one of the older slashing katana-based jobs. Attack and evasion rate increase for a decrease in defense. That's not really that amazing. So let's see what we got for new. First off, the mouthful. Defense penetration by 40, slash attack resistance penetration by 40, luck by 12, debuff effect weakening of 20. If you have regen on, reaction block rate of 50 for health. Luck increase of 10% if you have regen on, and debuff effect weak for 15. Now, that paints a pretty good picture that regen is one of the most key important things for this character, and I would be worried about that, but he does come built in with a lot of curse resistance, so that does seem to be pretty good at protecting his actual regening capabilities. Even with a slight bit of help, you should be essentially curse proof at this point for this character, so that's good. Other one is interesting. Well, here we have HP and healing power up. The other one that he does have is jump and move +1. So this character actually has really, really high mobility as well for a good amount of comparative speed to what a lot of other characters have. I like it. It's good. It's interesting. It's interesting that they've gone with the HP and healing power up over potentially more attack or more jump and move, but it does give you a little bit of an idea of what you could potentially change around with this character for building. I think his main skill seems really nice, and I do like the jump and move just for potentially getting this character out, because he does seem pretty defensively capable, and that would make him good on a series of maps. As for his counter, chance to counter physical damage with a 200% physical evade, so it's like reflex but only for physical. Seems good. I mean, he's already seems decent against magic-based damage, so having this kind of thing to negate physical-based damage some of the time is probably pretty good. The other one that he has, chance to counter damage, increasing evasion rate. His evasion rate seems bad, so that seems bad. and the Dragoon one of chance to counter all damage with a 15 absorb HP of 50% is also not that amazing. So I think his main counter is the only thing for him. As for his limit burst, short range, but as we said earlier, AoE resistance penetration of 50 and defense penetration increase of 50 for self, 240 mod, and a 67% chance of inflicting blind, which does come with a AP consumption increase of 50% if blind is active, and a decrease of 70% if blind is active. So his limit burst is actually quite capable, even with mid-tier faith, of landing a status effect, and that status effect is quite nasty, not only for the accuracy portion, but just the penalties that come along with it. If you don't have blind resistance, that could be quite a game changer. Now, some base jobs, Dragoon isn't really that interesting. Maybe you want the attack increase and protect. That would be kind of nice for shoring up his defense against physical attacks. I don't think you're really that interested in any of the other attacks that are in Dragoon, essentially just that buff. As for Samurai, you can increase bravery. It has some other attacks, but the range is really bad on them, other than the Machine and Stone Killer, which might be useful intermittently against certain bosses. I can't see that being particularly that good. However, it doesn't really matter because his main job has a hell of a sub. First off, this one, which is a select 3 targets, dispel, haste, protect, and auto restore for the targets, while also decreasing evasion rate by 50 for 3 turns for targets. That's a hell of an anti-evasion move with really good range on it, high selectability, and not only that, I mean, you're not doing any damage on it, but you're also canceling out a bunch of other stuff. Haste, protect, and auto restore, which are all 3 things that this character would love to be gone. That's quite a ability that I think this character does have. And yeah, I can already say that if I get this character, I would be running this sub job 100% of the time, all the time. But then we also have this one. This one, shorter range, increase defense penetration by 50, slash attack resistance penetration by 50, 205 mod with a 100% modifier if the target has poison on it. Now this is interesting because this ability doesn't have poison, which tells me that poison has to be somewhere in his kit, or you have to pair this guy with someone who does poison. But the effects of doing it, that's a 305% mod on an attack, that where poison is already something nasty, and there are some characters, I do believe in the modern era, that can cast poison. But let's see the rest of his kit and see if the missing piece is right in here. So first off, basic attack, AoE, and you can see it's just 86% mod, super small, very vanilla, nothing very much that interesting. Now our next one gains a counter for 4 turns. If the for self, if the target has one or more of the following effects: regen or protect, grants regen for himself, and also protect for self for 4 turns. So that also kind of just kills Dragoon completely dead if it wasn't already dead already. Also reduces physical damage taken by 25%, magical damage by 25%, while also decreasing AP consumption by 30% if regen or protect is active. So you kind of need, if you're going to be countering this guy, you do need to dispel essentially regen and protect at the same time if you really want to be very effective against this. And I don't think that's super common in a wide variety of teams. But it's also interesting that we get a counter here, which does have a high range on it. I'm just going to check really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Range of 5, chance to counter slash and magic-based damage with a 121 mod that absorbs 30% of the damage done. And again, it does have healing power up, so that is even more valuable. Quite nice. All right, next ability that we want to talk about is this one, another buff. Increase spirit by 30 for 4 turns. Luck by 25% for 4 turns for allies, as well as gives a chance for 200% chance to ignore fatal damage for himself. That also grants some other buffs, restores 20 AP for himself, and grants a couple of effects, including a 200% chance for physical damage, increase of 20%, providing ignore fatal damage is active. And 1 second while I just double check something. All right, now I had to essentially double check something, because if you look on Wotv Calc, at least at the time of this recording, one of the effects is not translated and also translates out a little bit weird. If I remember correctly, this one was not in the preview, but seals the effect of, or grants the effect of sealing target's follow-up attack for 3 turns when an attack hits. So kind of interesting, does have a little bit towards the whole follow-up attack pattern that some characters do have, and quite nice to be paired off with this character. All right. Continuing on, let's look at the next ability. Short range, 200 mod, increase modifier by 100% if the target has the following: haste and 50% chance to inflict poison. So there's our poison status effect. Is quite short range, given that the other ability we looked at is quite short range. I quite like that the unit will basically target a lot of other abilities while the character are further range, and if it does get in close, well, hey, that's when you start breaking out the actual poison. So interesting to say the least that that is going to be one of the abilities that is on here. Sorry, there it is, right there. And the range isn't too terrible, but is quite, with his movement, even as is, should be able to close the gap and use that much more powerful ability in his sub job. Next ability here, which is upgraded twice, so I'm going to talk about this this one. Select 2 targets, break physical barriers, reduce physical damage taken, buff for the target if you have regen active. Also increases slash attack resistance penetration by 30, single target resistance penetration by 30, 200 mod, 30% extra hit chance, grants regen for 3 turns for self, and increases single target resistance by 25 if you have regen active, and restores CT by 200 if you have regen active. Now, the interesting way I'm seeing that this is worded on Wotv Calc, and I'm not 100% sure that this isn't a mistake, but the way I read this is essentially, if you have regen, cast regen. So you know that we were talking earlier about the whole, he casts regen on himself at the start of battle, and then he gets in close and starts attacking kind of thing. Well, if he uses this ability and he has still regen active, the way I basically read it is that it refreshes regen again to be active to reset its actual counter. So it is possible this character can keep regen active for a large portion of the battle, which is quite interesting and might be one of the reasons why the specific build of the friend unit really has a focus on healing power up and HP up, because you're essentially getting more out of your regen from that. Now, our last ability down here, Dispel Auto Revive and Dispel Physical Distance-Based Resistance for target with a 200% mod. It is a single target or a single enemy targeting attack ability, but that's kind of nice to potentially get rid of that, get rid of Auto Revive, and allow you to go further. Either way, I have to say, O is looking very, very impressive for what his essential kit is. I think that it will be regarded as just generally really, really nice to get this character now, and probably a good amount into the future, since katanas are being just so well supported in the vision card space. And that's a pretty cool limb burst. Maybe a little greenish, but hey, he's got green armor. So to close out this video, we are going to do a couple of pulls. We're going to do one for Dark Leviathan, and we are going to do one for O, and Umbra will cry when this doesn't work even a little bit. But you can see 2 times pickup rate. How could we lose? Well, actually quite easily. So here we go. See if we have any luck on this, the Valentine's Day-ish. Now, we're not going to get excited yet. That's basically why. Just, yeah, right, a gold book. Oh, on a vision card banner, of course, characters every time. Now, the real insult to injury is when we do the O-based one, and there won't be, or it'll be a vision card on that one. Hey, not bad. That's actually a pretty nice one. All right, no vision cards there, and a Yerma. Wait, was that? I actually don't even. I can't even tell anymore. Is this? No, this is new Jaden. This is new Jaden. Yeah, that's not terrible. All right, and one for O. Oh no. But either way, I think that O is looking quite promising as an actual character in the game. I think he will be quite a good one for people who like water and ice-based characters to really enjoy, sink their teeth into. This is looking pretty bad. So next video, we will be, of course, testing the character, seeing if he does actually live up to the hype, but I'm pretty positive just looking over the actual data. Seems very, very good. All right, skip to the end. That's all for this video. Take care.